You know, there are times that I wish that when I started this channel I had called it Face Hobbies instead of Face Models, because I hate to say it, I'm kind of losing steam on modeling. I feel like an asshole for it, but you know, it happens. Every once in a while I'll go through a phase where I just don't have any motivation. It usually lasts for a month, 6 weeks or so. Sometimes I just need a break, but I don't know. This doesn't feel like one of those phases, and I feel bad about that because I've had my Mustang, you know, 20% finished sitting on my desk for the last 2 months, and I haven't even touched it. So, you know, because the channel's name is Face Models, I feel obligated to talk about modeling stuff and not just, you know, generic other hobbies that I'm into, like toy collecting and paintball, and the most recent hobby I've been getting into, recreational target shooting, which is the primary thing I'm going to talk about today. For those that don't know, I live in Canada. And to become a gun owner in Canada, it's not as easy as it is in the States. You can't just go into a gun store, point at a rifle and say, I want that one, and walk out of the store with it. I mean, yeah, with handguns it's a little more complicated. They got to run the background check. It's like a 5-day waiting period or something. But up here, it's more complicated even than that. First of all, you have to have a license. There's 2 levels of licenses. There's restricted, which covers your handguns and a few different rifles, and your unrestricted, which covers the majority of your rifles and your shotguns. On top of that, then there's prohibited, which covers anything that fires in fully automatic or burst fire mode. In other words, if you pull the trigger and more than 1 shot is fired, it's straight up illegal, prohibited. Not to mention there's quite a few different weapons in Canada that are illegal just for various reasons, such as AK-47s and variations thereof. A lot of European and former Soviet type weapons are very, very illegal. And any handgun with a barrel shorter than, I think, 4.1 inches or 105 millimeters or something, they're just straight up illegal. But in order to get one of these licenses in Canada, it's called a possession acquisition license. You have to take a course with a test. It's a 2-part course. The standard non-restricted course for me was 1 day, but it was a very long day. Some instructors will split it up into 2, and there is a test at the end. There is both a written test, which is basically, you know, true, false, multiple choice. And if you've been paying attention, it's almost impossible to fail. I probably could have challenged the test and passed it. But there is also a practical portion in which you have to demonstrate what you've learned with actual firearms. They're deactivated, but you have to demonstrate how to load and unload safely, how to carry safely, how to handle a weapon in a safe manner. For example, I have just an airsoft pistol here. This is a airsoft version of the classic Colt M1911 pistol. And if I was to be demonstrating how to perform that with this, basically, the magazine is actually not inserted, so I better do that. So a magazine is inserted, no round in the chamber. You'd pull back the slide until it locks, remove the magazine, check that the magazine is in good shape, verify that the weapon is empty, check the barrel, make sure there's no obstructions. You would insert 2 rounds into the magazine, close the weapon, close the slide, aim down the sights, remove the rounds safely by racking the slide like so, and then remove the magazine with the action open, set it down on the table. That's basically what you have to do. I actually really like this airsoft gun. It's very realistic. The the action, the weight of it. It's a lot of fun to just play with. And I bought it basically because I wanted to get some practice with something that emulated a real gun as realistically as possible, that was still legal for someone who doesn't have their license to handle. So that's the first day with the rifles. Let's pretend that was a rifle. And then the second day was the restricted license day, where you would essentially do the same thing again with 4 different pistols. In this case, we had a single action revolver, a double action revolver, single action semi-automatic pistol, basically the same design as this, and a double action semi-automatic pistol. For those of you that aren't familiar with guns, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail as to what is what, but you just had to demonstrate your practical knowledge that you could safely handle the firearms. And the written test, I scored 100% on both days. So, like I said, it's pretty easy. The practical portion, I missed a couple of things, but I did very well otherwise, and I was quite happy. Anyway, once you've done your test, you've got your results. It's different in some parts of Canada. I think it's a little more difficult in Ontario. They're a little more stringent, because each province has their own chief firearms officer who kind of sets their own rules within the greater framework of the Canadian firearms law. Because it's a federal law. Like, firearms laws are handled federally, not provincially, unlike in the States, where any states can set up their own laws however they like. In fact, I believe even certain cities have enacted bylaws of their own. For example, from what I understand, for a long time in Chicago, it was illegal to own a handgun inside the city limits. In Canada, though, it's entirely federal, aside from some minor variations here and there across the country. Once you have your results, you fill out an application, you send it in. If you're going for just your non-restricted license, it takes usually a month. And you might get a phone call from them to do a brief interview. If you're doing your restricted, then it'll probably take about 6 weeks, and you will get a phone call. And you do have to provide 2 references who, same deal. If it's your non-restricted, they might get a call. If it is your restricted, they will get a call. And they basically just want to know, if you do have a history of mental illness, depression, have you lost a job recently, are you on medication, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. I passed with flying colors. My license was just approved on Tuesday, and will be mailed to me. Hopefully I'll have it in hand by next week, which would be nice, because I've had my eye on this little .22 caliber pistol, again of the same design as this, but that actually shoots real bullets at the gun shop. It's a nice little gun. I've seen somebody else shooting one, and .22 caliber, it's just so inexpensive, so it's a great place to start. So that's probably what I'm going to do first off, and go from there. In the meantime, though, since it's been such a long wait since I sent off my paperwork, it's been about 7 weeks since I did my test, about 6 weeks since I sent in the paperwork, and I've still got another week or so to wait until I get my license. I went up to the range with a friend of mine just to do some target shooting. If you go up with somebody who has their license, it is legal for you to shoot under their license. So we went out with three different handguns and 2 different rifles, and he brought a 4th handgun of his own that he was going to put a few rounds through, just to play with. And we had a lot of fun. First off, I brought my contour camera with me, and took a fair bit of footage. I had ear protection on, big ear muffs. So wearing a head strap camera over the ear muffs looked a little ridiculous, but it was still fun. First off, we had a Ruger Mark II, which is a compact 22 caliber target pistol, which was a lot of fun. I didn't get any footage of that though. And then next up we had a Ruger Vaquero, which is a modern, I won't say a replica, but I guess a reimagining of the classic Colt single-action Army. It uses the same styling and similar functionality as the classic single-action Army does, but uses modern manufacturing techniques and modern safety mechanisms. And that was a lot of fun. I didn't expect I'd have as much fun shooting a single-action revolver, but it was really, really neat. And finally, the last handgun I got to shoot, a lot of anyway, was... well, anyone who is familiar with firearms has surely heard the name John Browning. He was a legend in the firearms community. He developed this, the M1911, which was in use by pretty much all branches of the U.S. military from the First World War through until the mid-1980s, when it was replaced by the Beretta 92. And the last handgun he ever had any direct involvement with was, it's referred to by many names, but most commonly as the Browning High Power. It's a 9mm pistol, very similar aesthetically to the 1911, but it's one of the first, if not the first, high-capacity pistol. It has the capacity for, I believe, 13 rounds in 9mm, though in Canada you can only load 10. That's another one of our silly laws, that handguns can only be loaded with a maximum of 10 rounds. So, you know, another stupid law, but whatever. I'm not here to debate the finer points of the Canadian legal system. But anyway, it was a 9mm pistol, and those store-bought 9mm rounds were pretty snappy, and it was a lot of fun to shoot that thing. My friend, also brought his own 1911 pistol in .45 caliber, just to do some test shooting with, because he does his own hand loading, reloading his own bullets. If you don't know what that is, it'll take too long to explain. Just look it up. And he was just doing some fine-tuning because he had just bought the pistol and didn't have a lot of experience hand-loading .45s. So he did let me put a couple of rounds through it, which was a lot of fun, because that is a classic, iconic handgun. Next up, I got to shoot a couple of rifles. Almost everything I shot was a Ruger. I guess my friend really has a fondness for Ruger weapons. It was a Ruger 1022, which is a 22 caliber rifle with a scope, which I believe it was a 3x magnification, 3 times magnification scope, which is good out to about 25 yards. And I had a lot of fun with that. I think I shot that more than anything else the whole day. Because 22 caliber ammunition is so inexpensive, and there's virtually no recoil, and it's just a lot of fun to shoot. And, the 1022 is fed by just a little 10-round little magazine about this big. It just fits under the receiver directly in front of the trigger, and it's a semi-automatic, so you know, one trigger pull, one shot. No, you don't have to operate a bolt or anything, so you can fire as fast as you can pull the trigger, and it was a lot of fun. I had pretty good accuracy with it. In fact, I got to keep my targets, and that was my 1022 at about, I think, 25 yards. So you can see each of the little groups around each of the little dots. So I was quite happy with my accuracy for that. And then finally, the last weapon I got to shoot was a Ruger M77 Hawkeye, I believe. I don't remember my friend telling me exactly what the model was. I just was able to figure it out based on a little bit of research. And that is a high-powered, long-range hunting rifle. And we were shooting that at about 100 yards. And that rifle was chambered in .243 caliber, which is a popular hunting cartridge, because it's low recoil and very accurate. And this was my group with that. You can see almost all my shots were within a couple of inches. And that's at 100 yards. It had a scope on it as well. I believe was set to 4x or maybe 5. I don't remember. And I was really happy with my results with that. So I'm very, very anxious for my license to come so that I can start my own gun collection. In the meantime, I got my hands on a crossbow. I wanted something to keep my hands busy until I was able to buy my own gun. I came into a little money earlier this month, and all my bills are paid off, so I figured, you know, what the hell, I'll have a little fun with it. And I bought a crossbow at the local sporting goods and hunting store. It's an Axiom model by a company called Excalibur. It's a Canadian company. It's a middle-of-the-road, very accurate, but you know, low-cost, entry-level target shooting crossbow. Comes with a scope. It's 3 times magnification. And I gotta give props to whoever assembled that crossbow at the store, because that sight was dead on accurate. First shot, right out of the gate. I didn't have to do anything to it. It was perfect. It's accurate out to about 50 yards. I've only shot it out to about 30, but it's a lot of fun to play with. But it's a pretty heavy draw. It came with a cocking aid, which is basically, it's a length of rope about this long with a handle on each end and 2 hooks in the middle that you hook over the frame of the crossbow to the bowstring, and you pull it, and that helps you cock it. It's, you know, using mechanical force multiplication to cock it more effectively than pulling it by hand. I tried pulling it once by hand, and that thing is heavy. I think it's a 230-pound draw weight. So, you know, just think, trying to lift 230 pounds straight up. It was not an easy challenge, so I stuck with the cocking aid. But it's a lot of fun to shoot, and it is really, really accurate, but it's almost too accurate, because if you accidentally Robin Hood a couple of arrows together, you know, hit one dead into the back of it, they will disintegrate. Like, they will shatter. I haven't had it happen, but they always, the people at the sporting goods store told me, you know, don't aim for the same point. You know, this isn't rifle shooting. Don't go for a grouping, because if you back end one arrow into another, they will explode, and you will have just lost $20 worth of arrows. So, I generally tried to avoid grouping too closely, so most of my shots were, you know, 3-4 inches apart as opposed to real close together. But it is a lot of fun to shoot, and very, very accurate. And last but not least, I actually just got this morning. Stupid postman woke me up, which is probably a good thing because it was 10 in the morning and I needed to get up anyway. I got a new paintball gun. Another new paintball gun. This is, what, my 5th, I think? But this is my first pump gun. It's an Empire sniper pump, which I've got loaded with an Empire Prophecy hopper, which is a force feed hopper, and a compact 3000 psi, 13 cubic inch compact air tank. But it's a, like I said, it's a pump gun, so it's like a pump action shotgun. You have to pump it before every shot. It's got this little handle on the front, so you can keep your grip on the on the regulator if you like and cock it that way, or you can grab it like that depending on your preference. I've only put a couple of rounds through it. I just wanted to test, just to play with it, just to test it, and make sure that the loader did feed correctly. But it is a really nice marker. It's really lightweight and deadly accurate. I was shooting at about 25 yards, and I think I put maybe 6 rounds through it, and all 6 rounds hit on a single point about this big. At 25 yards, that's pretty damned accurate. So I was quite happy with that. It comes with 3 different. These are called barrel backs for different sizing of paintballs, because paintballs are all supposed to be 68 caliber, meaning 68/100ths of an inch, but there's always a little bit of variation within batches. Sometimes they can be a little bigger, sometimes they can be a little smaller. So each of these barrel backs, I believe this is the 680 caliber barrel back. There's a 675 and a 685 version as well. In addition, this also comes with a small 10 or 12 round tube magazine that fits on the top, either going forward or backward, for players who like to play with limited ammunition, for what's called the stock class. It just fits on the top. You can fit, I think, like I said, 10 or 12, and it's spring loaded, but you can remove the spring to give it the old rock and cock type play. I haven't played around with it yet. I'm going tomorrow to play, and I'm really anxious to give it a try. But like I said, it's really light. It's very low profile, though the giant the hopper kind of adds a little bit to the profile. Though I do have a smaller cone for the front end. This one, this is the 280 round cone. I believe I have a 240 round as well, so that'll bring my profile down by a little bit. So yeah, I'm really anxious to give it a try. Other than that, there's not really much else to say. I know I said that I'm not really doing a lot of modeling these days. Well, I'm not really doing any modeling these days, but every now and then I still do go down to the hobby shop, and I have bought a couple of new kits. Kits I'll probably never build, but I'd still like to review them at some point, because I do enjoy doing the out-of-box reviews. So hopefully I'll get off my ass and clean off my desk one of these days, and I'll do a couple of unboxing videos within the next week. But in the meantime, we'll see where everything takes us. So I don't really have anything else to say except thanks for watching. Happy modeling, happy shooting, happy... let's just leave it at happy hobbying.